working with animals to manifest has completely shifted me in the last 3 months of me consecutively doing this technique that I am going to be sharing with you. I feel like I have been in an understanding and realm of my own self, and I've made jumps and manifested amazing things, but there is this thing that old stories and limiting beliefs that have kind of kept me at a certain, a stationary point in my life. And in the last 3 months of, and I just like, I am so excited about this, working with animals. And like, you don't need to feel like I don't have a dog, or you don't need the animal physically. Like, just stick with me, because working with these animals in the last 3 months and if you're unfamiliar with who I am, I'm Cara Elizabeth. I'm the author, illustrator, and creator of Animal Apothecary Card Deck. This deck, in the creation of it, inadvertently healed 18 years of complex post-traumatic stress disorder from being molested as a kid. So I know a thing or two about animal wisdom, animal medicine, animal symbology, from different cultures, from studying their behavior and just seeing what they metaphorically actually mean for us. So manifesting with the animals and doing this technique consecutively the last 3 months, like, I would say I finally feel like, okay, I see the quantum jump. Like, I'm in the midst of the quantum jump. If you're unfamiliar with what a quantum jump is, it just means that you're finally aligning energetically with the version of you who you have been seeking to become. And in that, the world starts slowly reflecting that story back to you that now aligns with this higher vibration of who you've been working on becoming. So I have seen a lot of interesting kind of reflections with my success around money, around opportunities, and around relationships with people, and just how these things have been being reflected back to me through working with these animals is so freaking awesome. Okay, so in the manifesting world, you will hear all about like doing visualizations, and I've always had a hard time with connecting to some visualization of like, okay, this is me with the thing, doing the thing with the person. I don't know. It like doesn't necessarily hype me up. It feels like my ego is making up the story. Like it's been really hard for me to do those kind of visualizations. And it also feels like, because it doesn't like bring me that much excitement, it also just feels like it's coming from like a story that is limited. So it's not really that helpful. So what I realized, and with already having those kind of issues with like, I don't know, this feels like limited doing this visualization, I started doing animal journeying visualizations with specific animals that I knew held these kind of powers. So it started in April with Eagle. And if you're familiar, I do these readings, and some months there's like an animal that like really comes to us. And April was when like Eagle was popping off to like make himself present. So I started like, I don't know what came before one or the other, the idea, but I started doing these, listening to like hype music. For me, it's like always usually techno that made me like feel some type of feeling. So that is the first step. You need a song that makes you feel some type of way in the best way. It literally is a song that moves you. So I started just like, I'd have the song on, and I would have this like journey with Eagle, like, you know, bringing me out of the nest, like picking me up to fly. And it would transform into these other things through time. Like I started to grow wings. I started to be the eagle. I started to, you know, follow Eagle that was going to the sun and doing all this stuff. And then we would be flying together. And I don't know if you've ever seen, and it also helps to like watch some videos on the animals so you can really get like a imprint of that animal in your consciousness. But there's this mating ritual that eagles do where they basically, a male and a female, before they mate, will do this thing, and they collide their claws and they start spinning around in the middle of the air, and then they let go and they just like free fall into like the abyss. And it is so freaking cool. So I'm seeing myself every single day. I'm listening to this like music that makes me feel some type of way, and I'm going on this radical freaking crazy journey. And then it turned into like, I'm walking down the street, I'm seeing myself with eagle wings, like in real life, without just listening to the music. I'm just seeing myself constantly with the eagle wings. Eagle, working with eagle, for me specifically, I know that eagle is one of the birds that flies highest to the sun, that it is an honor to receive, you know, the presence of eagle, that eagle asks you to recognize that you are sacred, that you have some gift that connects to light, that you are here to share as well. So for me, it was like about, like, I need to see myself, like I need to honor and recognize that I am this thing, and I need to honor that I am, and I need to start freaking flying. I need to leave the nest and I need to start freaking flying. So that was really empowering, and I started to see these little shifts start happening in my life. And then, you know, it came clear that like, all right, here's another thing coming up about my self-worth, dealing with issues around my self-worth. And I was like, who better to work with than I'm just looking for the card to show you, like the creature in my deck who is all about self-worth is little Piggy. And not only is he like coming out of coins, like think like Pig is so freaking abundant and seen as this valuable creature. He's used as dowries in some cultures. He can feed 120 people. You know, they have, I think it's like a huge litter, like 16 piglets. And I think it's like every 6 months or something. So there's this like abundance, and one pig could feed, you know, if there was a starving village, 120 people, and you can eat every part of a pig. And like, there's also this other story with Pig that he is used as a word as derogatory towards people. It's something that's seen as like filthy and gross in many cultures. So he has this dichotomy, yet he's used as a thing that is a bank that holds money inside of its stomach. So he is like, what Pig teaches us, despite his great worth, he still has these struggles. And the point is that, like, you know, and how he's viewed and seen on the outside of the world, he is so freaking valuable, even though he's had to come against these other like cultural connotations about being gross because he's a pig. He's still freaking awesome, and he's still freaking worthy. And so with Pig, I started doing this like hype techno dance music, and like really goofy and fun, and seeing like pigs dancing around me, rainbows shooting out of our head, rainbows shooting out of, you know, the pigs. And then I just started seeing all these like golden coins in my body, just like splurting out of my head and doing all this stuff. And again, I started to notice like changes in this one got me quite a bit of like, I'm like easy kind of money coming in. And I thought that was really interesting. Working a lot doing this. And I think I in my personal life, attach my worth to like, making sales and this and that and the other thing. So it was kind of interesting to see that working with Pig was like actually, you know, bringing more abundance instead of visualizing, oh, the thing on the outside in the story. I was just envisioning that I was the gold, that I was the abundance, and having these pigs dance around me. So why is this like, why is this technique so cool in so many different ways? So you could choose an animal that just feels like this works for me, but when you know what the animal means and what they represent, spending time with them every single day and going on a visual journey with them, their medicine will impact you. What is animal medicine? I'm not talking about a vet. Animal medicine is really in every indigenous culture from, you know, but it is specifically from the North American indigenous culture. And it's this philosophy that by studying animals' behavior, by knowing its lore and its myth, that when they show up in your life, they are reflecting back at you something that you might need to work on, or something that you can learn, and something that is like acts like a medicine for your personal journey of growth and aligning with your destiny path. So when you're working with these animals, they are medicine. They are literally, it is your prescription. What I'm offering you is animal medicine and prescription to start working with them and journeying them. And again, there's so many different cultures that do these, you know, in physical real time or within these animal journeys. And I just like go ballistic with them, making it like, you know, I love a crazy techno moment with like, just like pigs dancing around me. Like we're all dancing. There's like gold just and rainbows coming out of our orifices, and it's just freaking awesome. So this is another reason why this is cool, is because you don't need to know how it works. It just works. It just works. The thing is, you're working with that animal and they're going to share their benefits with you. They're going to share, if one is, you know, good for detachment, one might be good for self-worth, one might be good for your empowerment, one might be good for being fearless. You work with these animals and you make a commitment, and I would say at least for 19 days, you want to do this journeying with them for 19 days. Why is 19 a great number to really kind of shift and quantum jump into this next version of yourself? If we just look at the math and then the numbers of 1 and 9, 9 plus 1 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So it's almost like there's this stretch of time. It's not 10 days, but there's something about this 19 days that really allows yourself to recalibrate and to like connect, to really shift some things around. So I also found that this was great for the child in me who felt really unprotected and scared. And it turns out that my 6-year-old child has made the best freaking friends with this big, sweet white buffalo. And like, it's just so cool because instead of kind of listening to music, I just kind of can feel every time I need white buffalo to be like around me, and I can like envision it and see it. And my white buffalo has like this like rainbow thing that comes out of his head. So whenever I'm having kind of a difficult time, I have him just like spray my reality with his rainbows through his third eye. And there's like this weird shift that happens. It's really freaking cool. So this is so simple. One, I would say, like, what is it you need to work on? If it is something about feeling your power, and really honoring how powerful you are, eagle is great for that. You know, some of the bigger cats like lion, tiger. To be fearless, Black Panther is really powerful to work through, you know, working through your fear. If you are looking for self-worth and self-love and really just like need that abundance, you're gonna like, pig is awesome. Whale is also awesome to work with that. If you don't even know what to work with, I will recommend Animal Speak by Ted Andrews is such a, you know, a powerful book that shares all the wisdom of so many different animals. You could also just grab, you know, this is sold everywhere. It's also on Amazon. Animal Apothecary, which shows, you know, gives these meanings to all these animals, and you could, you know, use this as a guide. Like, why would I want to work with that? And I think even just like before I made this video, I was like, I want to, I think I want to start working with Dragonfly, because this card is about better than you can imagine. And I think with Dragonfly, because he's underground he's actually underwater for, depending on the species, 3 to 7 years as this nymph creature, collapsible jaw. And little does he know, his destiny is to fly. But how could he even fathom that? Because if he only understands life underwater, how can he even comprehend this next stage of his life if he doesn't even know what air is? How can he know what flight is? So I think something that I've been working with and having kind of brief moments of really opening up to trust and surrender. And it just dawned on me that, like, you know, if better than you can imagine, if that is the message from Dragonfly about, like, there's a certain level of reality that you have had, and it's hard to envision what this next thing, and that's almost like the whole point of me sharing this with you, is that when we kind of like visualize in human format these things that we want to create, sometimes we're actually limiting the potential of that, and we like strangle it with our egoic desires. Instead, it's like, I'm dancing around with pig and we're having freaking golden coins and rainbows shooting out of us and sharing it with humanity. All of a sudden, I am making, like, I'm bringing in those sales without even trying, because I'm aligning with the fact that, like, I am worthy, I am the abundance, I am the self-love, I am the worth, I am. So it doesn't, you know, for some of us that have had challenging backgrounds, which just also means being a human freaking being and being inundated by programs that make us feel small, whether you have horrific traumas or whatever, this state of reality in our world's culture diminishes, for the most part, programs us to feel small, and you know, we are all here to shine in our own ways. So it dims, a lot of us have had our lights dimmed. So I don't even know what the whole point of me saying all that, but like, working with these animals has taken this pressure off of, like, I need this dream to look like this. And then I almost feel I might challenge that vision, like that's too good to be true or something. But when you're dancing around with pig, when you're hanging out with your 6-year-old self who's riding white buffalo, who has like rainbows shooting out of his head, when you're allowing eagle to bring you to the sun, and then you're growing wings. It's actually the freaking symbology and metaphor that is changing. And I just like this is what could have been the clickbait in the beginning of this, but the fact that you are instead using symbology to brainwash yourself or to change yourself. Like, our dreams are in symbols. Our subconscious speaks in symbols. So we are also connecting to our subconscious, but there's something about the animal kingdom that, and having these adventures with them, that is also like otherworldly, where I feel like I've been connecting with my highest self through animal journeying. Like, it's not just egoic things. It's like, you know, it is not my idea of like some kind of weird human thought of like, I'm worth it, I'm worthy. It's instead working with these animals and their symbology and their metaphors, and like even throwing in other metaphors you need. Like, the other metaphor I want to start introducing into my journeying is bridges. Like, you know, maybe I'll imagine like all these dragonflies and there's this like star over there, and I start building a bridge to get to the star, right? Like, be freaking creative. You are the creator. You are the artist. This is fun. This is interesting. And I also noticed that, so I'm going to keep going back to this. You have to feel, the song has to move you. Whatever song you pick, it has to make you feel some type of way. It has to like get ya or get you hype. It either makes you almost like a weep, or it makes you want to like, you know, there's like fist pump, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah. So I just think that's really, it's been just so helpful in this quantum jump. And like, I finally feel like this past, like, I don't know how many, let me just do this math. I've been, I think, really working on becoming this version of me for 6 years. And in doing this animal journeying, I feel like I'm finally like having moments of tasting who I really am without the programming. I mean, there's still more I'm working through. There's still, you know, veils that need to be like dismantled and whatever, but I don't know. It's really, really cool. And I've just noticed that these animals have also been helpful. Like, yesterday there was just this thing coming up and so much frustration, and like, as much as I don't want to go back to the past, like, it was clear that like a teenage belief was coming out. So I let her come out in a journey, and like, she was fierce and she was angry, but she was awesome. And she had this white horse with these wings, and like, she was not a thing to be messed with, but she needed to see herself as that powerful. So I'm going back and I'm actually letting my past selves, the ones that I know, okay, she has this limiting belief about this. She has this limiting belief about this. Let's get you with an animal. And the thing, why setting up these different parts of yourself, like the past, the present, the future, is because when you're leveling up, when you quantum jump, you're expanding, and you're expanding in every single way. You can't only go forward. You're expanding your past selves, and you're working with your past selves, because your past selves are a part of you becoming this next version of yourself. So you have to expand in every direction. So it's limitless how you could continue to keep journeying with these animals and having them help you manifest. But really, what they are here for is to help you align with your fullest potential, because that is their gift that they want to share with us. They They are here to help us on our mission. So with that being said, I'm going to leave you with a reading. So I just think if you're here, you are blossoming into the next version of yourself. And whatever message this next version of ourself needs to hear right now from the beloved animal kingdom. Oh my God. We got victory and success. And okay, so I love this because it makes so much sense. So this is saying, we have baby hawk right here, nourishment while waiting. So it's saying, what is nourishment while waiting? Nourishment while waiting means start learning what your future self is already doing. So I've used this story before that I love to public speak. I love to do workshops, and I get so in the flow, and it's just like a part of what I was created to do. But in the past, I would get so triggered, and I would be dealing with PTSD the week before my workshop, and then sometimes just battling the fear the entire time that I was speaking in my workshops, and just so much stuff, whatever. So it was just awful, because we probably don't talk about enough that sometimes the thing that we want to do so bad is also the thing that is causing us the greatest misery and pain. Like, isn't that crazy that the thing in my heart that I wanted to excel and be so good at was also the thing that would trigger the hell out of me and bring up all my past fears and blah, blah, blah. So I decided to, how would I become the version of Cara Elizabeth who is just killing it and at ease public speaking? I decided to take an improv class to just it was like a freaking comedy improv class. I live in New York City. Everyone there, I'm sure, is I want to be on Saturday Night Live or whatever the thing is that they're doing. I don't, but I know I want to be able to be on stage and have whatever thrown at me and just figure it out in real time. So I did it. It was 2 months long. And I swear to God, it cured 95% of my stage fright. It changed everything. So that is an example of something that, I also, money is just interesting. I've always kind of been frivolous. It comes, it goes, it comes and goes. And it's I envision this next aspect of me that is, it's not like she's uptight with money, but she is conscious of it and doesn't blow it on stupid things and is careful with it and has is wise about where she puts her money. And that's all. And is able to save. And I've just budgeting, never, I just couldn't, it just didn't. And in the last 2 months, I legit started, I've never wanted to, it just killed me. I was started writing down everything I bought every single day, figuring out the math. This is what I got. This is how much I can spend a day. And all of a sudden I started liking it. I started liking being look how I didn't even spend that was in my budget. And look how I'm saving that. And look how I just paid off that credit card bill. So I started learning and started doing the things to become the version of me who is wiser with my finances. This is what you're being asked to do right now. And then it says 2 things. You're being asked to focus on victory. So Falcon comes to say, and maybe there's something, you have this big goal in your life. Falcon would be really freaking cool to work with. But we see these binoculars and he's that has to be your focus, because what you put your focus and attention on, it grows, it grows, it grows. So your focus has to be on this thing that knowing no matter what, it's going to freaking happen. And then Dragon, actions lead to success. I've actually been journeying with Dragon lately. And you know, he's just so cool. But there's something about what you are here to share, and regardless of any ego stuff attached to it, there's a real place coming from your heart that you want to share this as a service. Even if you're not even, it is a service to others if you share this gift that you have. And you are being asked, as long as you take action towards it, right? Like, as long as you work on this thing, as long as I can do all the vision journeying I want. And it's interesting because I am noticing like, oh, I'm not even having to try. But that doesn't mean that I don't upload my videos, that I don't, you know, do all the things necessary for me to like get some kind of a abundance with what I'm sharing with others. So you have to take the action too. It's like you have to focus. Like, I also think this is like, use those animals to animal journey, focus on those, work with those animals, and then take the action that is inspired or that just makes sense. Like, there's nothing fun about this card. It is actually logical work that you need to do. It's like, so it's almost saying the combination of like you changing things from the top down, as opposed to, you know how people like leave a job to go to another job where the same exact problems, or leave a relationship to go to the same exact person. It's because they're still vibrating at the same frequency. So we're through the animal visualization, you're changing who you are, and then you're taking the aligned actions in the material form that also is like in alignment with this blossoming of this next version of yourself. So yeah, I would love for you to put in the comments below, like, what animals are you going to work with? Also, if you're like, I have no idea, but I am struggling with XYZ, I would love to see if I could maybe share some animal suggestions that would be super helpful for you. If this was uplifting, if you gained any insight, you better put a like, please. And then, comments, and subscribe, all those things. So I love you all so much. I am Cara Elizabeth, and I am here to create world peace with you. So you can only do that by fulfilling your potential. So let's do it, because if we're not fulfilling our potential, what are you doing?